Simon Told Helen wins a half length. Zach Manelli second.
Welcome to Greyhound Gossip.
Peaky Blinders start cheering for Tommy Shelby wins the WA Sprint Championship final.
Featuring Peter O'Neill and Leia Ernest.
Mozza moves up to Mermaid Manelli. Fab's Gem 3 deep. Here comes Fab's Gem.
Hard style Rico by 5 lengths to Simon Told Helen. Third Tommy Shelby.
This segment is dedicated to the discussion and promotion of greyhound racing.
Cindy's Oliver, Rockstar Patriot, Paul Stewart, back-to-back with Rockstar Patriot in the Galaxy.
Handsome Prince, a bolder clear. The former Tasmanian Handsome Prince has won the $1 million chase.
And a very good morning, everyone. Tune into Greyhound Gossip this Monday. And, of course, a very good morning to you, Peter O'Neill.
And good morning, Leia. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful weekend of greyhound racing we had, although it was all called off on Saturday as I arrived at the track because of a power issue in the kennel block. So that'll be rectified for this evening's meeting at Cannington. But unfortunately, all the trainers had to go away and go home because obviously the welfare of the greyhounds most important, and we couldn't assure that the air conditioning would be working for the whole meeting. So that was called off. But a good program on Friday, Leia, and Zarbel, a narrow winner over Columbus Manelli in the 647-metre free-for-all, of which we don't see many of those races at Mandurah.
No, we don't. It was a fantastic win indeed. And we also had the Summer Maiden Classic final. West on Blossom led all the way, winning in 29 and 98.
And a good program prior to that on Thursday night across at Albion Park, where what an exciting race it was. The Golden Ticket, Throttle and J is J, they were equal in the quickest times. We mentioned on Greyhound Gossip last week that we thought Throttle would be able to improve sharply in the two-dog match race, and he did. And David Barson was wrapped with his run straight after the race. A little disappointed, obviously, that he didn't get the Golden Ticket into the Gold Bullion final, of which J is J does for Selena Zammit, but he'd be wrapped going into the heats of the Gold Bullion this Thursday night.
Pete, before we get on to our first guest, what were your thoughts on how they handled that whole situation with the draw for whether or not Throttle or J is J was going through? Do you think that was the best way for them to make the decision?
It was the only way, the way the rules were, because of the system. We do have the link system where we can actually go into, go back to 4 decimal points here in Perth. I'm pretty sure they would have it in Queensland as well, but the rules were that they would go back to 2 decimal points. That might change going forward. And we've had it here in Western Australia before, where we've had heat winners of the Perth Cup that dead heated, and then you have to draw them out of a hat or out of a barrel to find out which runner goes through to the Perth Cup. It's not ideal. It was unfortunate for Throttle, and it would have been good to see both of them get a golden ticket, but the way the rules were set out, it couldn't happen. So you move forward, and I think the positive out of it for the Robertsons is the return to form of Throttle, and he is one of the most exciting chasers in Australia at the moment, and he'll go into that Gold Bullion series full of confidence, and I'm sure he'll do really well. And of course, on Saturday night at Wentworth Park, we saw She's a Pearl return, taking out the Paws of Thunder, and the Futurity going the way of Winder All Class for the Gap family. And the derby to Victor Damien, Felicia Rasmussen, the South Australian chaser that came across from South Australia to take out the derby at Wentworth Park. So well done to all concerned there. Let's go to our first special guest, and that is Jay Jacobson, who's about to join us. She's a young lady that's been involved in greyhound racing for many years. She works for some of the leading kennels in helping out as an assistant, and now she's taken up the training in her own rights. And hasn't she started in fantastic form, Leia? She's got a few greyhounds in her care, and Westdale Amity recorded her 5th consecutive victory on Wednesday night at Cannington, and Jay's about to join us. Jay, good morning. Hello, Jay. Okay, we haven't got Jay there just at the moment.
We can hear the dogs barking in the background, but we can't hear Jay.
All right, we'll get to Jay in just a moment. But Westdale Amity was in outstanding form, winning 4 consecutive races over the 380 metres, and a few of them in quick time as well, and then stepped back up to the 520 metres for the first time for Jay on Wednesday night, and went 29.96 in defeating Weekend 2. So she's a dog on the rise, and so too is the career of Jay Jacobson. We'll try once again. Jay, good morning.
Jay, have we got you there?
No, so we'll just take that line out and we'll see if we can get TC to give her a call back and get Jay online. But you're a young lady in the sport, Leia, and it's good to see some of the young ladies coming through, and Jay is one of those that's worked so hard for Adam Smithson, also for the kennel of Shane Williams, and she's handled many good greyhounds over the years, and now to be able to do it in her own right, it'd be interesting to find out how she's going in regards to the training in her own right.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to seeing how she progresses through the next few years, Pete, and hopefully we've got Jay now. Jay, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, sorry guys, the phone turned into a robot. I couldn't hear anything.
That's all right, Joe. We were mentioning Westdale Amity. She's in outstanding form. She won the 4 over the 380 metres, and then you stepped her up to the 520 metres, and she didn't let you down there last Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how she's been going. She's doing everything right, and she just seems to be getting a bit better every week.
She was on the sidelines for a little while before you took back over the training of her. She was unplaced first up at Mandurah, but you dropped her back to the 380 metres. Was that mainly for a fitness or to give her a little bit of confidence?
It was mainly for confidence because she was the dogs that were heading around in the country fives at that time, and she just wasn't competitive. So, actually, Shane told me that the 5.6s over the 380s were a lot easier, and I thought, why not? We'll give it a crack. And she's gone well.
She certainly has gone well. She won 4 in a row, and then you're obviously confident enough in stepping her back up to the 520. Were you confident that she'd be able to run and break the 30-second barrier last Wednesday?
Definitely not. Her trial times did not run. I was kind of thinking that she'd need a couple of runs under her belt over the distance before she would have the fitness, but she came home really well, so I'm happy that she's progressing and we can keep going with the 500s now.
Jay, what are your plans with her now moving forward? Will you just keep her over the 520, or are there any races that you're aiming for with her? We'll probably keep her up over 520. She is a very confidence-orientated dog. So as long as there's no issues going forward, we'll just keep her firing ahead. And as for races, we'll just... Shane mentioned that the Keith Harding was coming up soon and asked if I was going to go in it, and I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest. But we'll just see how she's up against a better class of dog this Wednesday, and it'll be interesting to see how she goes up against them, and if she's competitive, then we'll maybe contemplate that going forward. How
are you finding the training of the greyhounds? You mentioned there that Shane mentioned races coming up. It's something new that you have to think of, isn't it? The programming of greyhounds and so forth, and how far do you think she can go?
Yeah, it's not much of a change, but it's just like the contemplation of the races and stuff. Like, I've got so much experience with training and different methods and whatever else, but the actual thinking of what grade she is and where she's suited and all of that as well is like trying to keep on top of nominations, and yeah, it's a lot, but it's good.
It's all different, isn't it? How many have you got in work? And you must be excited leading into the Perth Cup Carnival and also the running of the Sandgroper coming up. While you might not have a greyhound in that capacity just yet, to be able to aim for those sort of races with greyhounds coming through is exciting.
I've got 2 in work at the moment. The other one is Eugenius. He's just young. He's very, very green, and I've just given him a bit of a spell for maturity, but he's on his way back now. So it'll be good to see if he can just grow up a little bit. It'll be good to see what he can do, really, because he's looking like he'll be okay. And I am excited I always love, my favourite night of the year is heat night, Cup heat night, because you just see all the different dogs come over and all the... it's just the best night of the year, really. You just see everything come around.
It certainly is, and it comes up on the heats on the 11th of March and the final coming up on Saturday the 18th of March. There's some rich prize money on offer. Jay, thanks for joining us this morning. Good luck with your team and good luck going forward with your speed machine at the moment, who's in a purple patch of form. You've now won 5 in a row with a very talented chaser in Westdale Amity. You're a talented trainer as well. We wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Jay Jacobson joining us this morning on Greyhound Gossip. She's a lovely young lady and she certainly has got a very bright future in the training ranks here in Western Australia. Speaking of bright futures, we saw one last Wednesday, Leia in Watch Me Browse, who was successful over the 275 metres, and it's not very often that we get excited about 275 metre racing, but how couldn't you in the first race there last Wednesday night with a brilliant performance by Watch Me Browse, who clocked 15:47, lowering his own record that he set going back in the middle or early December of 15:51. I didn't think I'd see a greyhound go 15:50, and now to be able to break that, that's remarkable.
It is indeed, Pete, and I have to say, and I'm not trying to make it about me, but, I've had Panama Pepper equal the track record, and it's just a fantastic feeling to know that you're amongst those speedy greyhounds that's managed to go down in history.
Yeah, it's remarkable, and this greyhound's got a story behind him because of the fact that he's had some injury concerns over the years, and Brandon Magistro's the owner, and he joins us. His father David trains the greyhound Watch Me Browse that we're talking about. Brandon, good morning. Welcome along to Greyhound Gossip.
Good morning, Pete. Leia, how are you?
How are you going? How exciting was that last Wednesday night?
Oh, obviously very exciting, yeah. You just don't know what's going to happen in greyhound racing, but, yeah, you can have a fast one, but you just don't know how the race is going to plan out or even how the next day is going to plan out. So, yeah. It was obviously very
Did you always know... Yeah. Did you always know he was going to be this quick when he was broken in?
Yeah, pretty much his first trial at a racetrack. I think he went 17:30 at Mandurah over 3:02. So obviously, always knew that he was very fast. And yeah, definitely the pick of the litter. But yeah, just had to take.
He won his maiden. Yeah, he won his maiden in 22.82. That was from box 8 back in April, and he had a couple more runs, and then he was off the scene for quite a while before he returned to Cannington. What was the reason for that?
Yeah, so he had a twisted bowel. So when he was eating his dinner and that, like it's a common thing with dogs. So yeah, we had to do the surgery for that, and obviously a long time recovering. I brought him home here with me, and yeah, he just lived with me, and sort of became a bit of a pet. And I was like, oh, that's it. He's just probably going to live here for his days. But yeah, then he started really changing. He was running around, and he started shining again. So I thought, oh well, we'll put him back into some work, start running him a bit, and yeah, got the all clear from the vet and give him a trial. His first trial back, I can't remember exactly what he ran, but it was pretty quick. So I thought, well, I don't think he's lost much. So yeah, we just built from there.
Did you think he could ever come back to prime form again after that whole situation?
No, I didn't think it was possible. I heard about 5 dogs that have had the injury, all very good dogs as well, and none of them raced again, or if they did race, they didn't come back to any sort of form. So I honestly did think that, yeah, he was just going to be a pet, or, yeah, I wasn't going to race him if he didn't come back to, somewhere near his best at least. So, yeah.
So he returned, he went 15:51, which astounded me. I never thought I'd see a greyhound ever go that quick. And for a greyhound commentator, it's very difficult to call. I'd love them if they went slower, but you must love it when they go that sort of speed. And then you decided to step him up over the 380 and the 405. Was there concerns with him again?
No, not really any concerns, just the corner start there over 380, and just because, he's never really been bumped by another dog. Obviously I trial him with a couple other dogs, but he's that fast and that fast early. It's like a solo trial every time. So when he does get bumped by other dogs in a full field, it sort of just takes him a while to adjust. And, yeah, just something that he's going to have to learn, So that's why I sort of kept him on the straighter starts, just to give him a bit of room to balance up. But it's not going to happen every week. It's greyhound racing, So, yeah, just got to take the hits and keep going.
He has run over the 490 before, so do you believe that we could see him over the 520 metres in time?
I'm not sure anymore after this thing. Yeah, probably not. But you never know.
Can he go quicker than the 15:47?
Oh, don't know. Maybe.
That's remarkable, isn't it? That we can see greyhounds go that quick.
Yeah, I didn't think that he would run that, honestly, because when I trialled him, I think he went about 15:70 something, but yeah. Yeah. Oh,
it blows me away, I remember.
Race day, but yeah.
Well done. Congratulations. You've worked tirelessly. You've spent a lot of money to keep his health right, and for you and your dad to be able to get him back to the track, and for him to be able to break the track record there last week. It's a feather in your cap, and I hope that he stays sound for you, and you can get plenty more wins out of him going forward. I know that you look after your greyhounds, and the welfare of them is the most important thing for you and your dad. We wish you all the best of luck.
No worries. Thank you very much, Pete. I appreciate it.
Good on you. Brandon Magistro joining Leia and I here on TAB Radio on Greyhound Gossip, and we're about to go to a man who has probably seen a lot more than I have, Leia, and also yourself, of greyhounds that have been able to quicken up with their times over the years, and that is our special guest this morning in Eddie Caruana. And we heard from the Meadows and the Melbourne Greyhound Club last week that Eddie's retiring from the chairmanship of the MGRA after many years, and he came out from Malta soon after his father died at 15 years of age, and got involved in greyhound racing. He was the director of the MGRA back in 1995, and I think chairman from 2001, and he's one of the, well, if not the nicest guy in greyhound racing, he's one of the nicest guys, and he joins us online this morning, Eddie Caruana. Eddie, Peter and Leia Ernest, we did. Leia's boyfriend won't be happy with that. Peter and Leia with you this morning. I'm a bit nervous talking to the great man. How are you?
Good, thank you. That's a very nice intro. Thank you, Pete. That's lovely, thank you.
Well, I was just talking to Brandon Magistro there about Watch Me Browse, who broke our track record over the 275 metres, went 15:47. You would have seen a remarkable change in the speed of greyhounds in the many years that you've been involved.
Oh, yes, yeah. Amazingly so, Peter. It's, yeah, what the dogs have gone from, from when I first started back in 1963 down to Olympic Park, to what they run these days. It's phenomenal, isn't it?
It is. What was you've, as I said, you joined as a director of the MGRA back in 1995, and soon after that you became chairman. Talk us through some of the biggest moves that you've seen in greyhound racing, and probably one of the biggest you saw was with yourself and Marg Long when you moved from the old Olympic Park, which was based near the MCG, for those new listeners on Tab Radio and don't remember Olympic Park, but moved from Olympic Park out to what we now know as the Meadows.
Yeah, that was a very traumatic time for all concerned, Pete, the whole committee and everyone concerned, because we had to vacate Olympic Park after 33 years to build the tunnel, which is now the tunnel, obviously, and no one would tell us what was going to happen to us after that. So we're in limbo for a while, and I joined, as you said, of course, in 1995. Margaret came on board, said to me, "Needs to come on board because next year we're going to have to live in here and be looking for a new home." And Marg Long and Fred Abel, who passed away December last year, December 2001, who was chairman at the time, long-time chairman, and Marg Long, they looked at 64 different sites before we settled on the Meadows. So we have come a long way since then, Peter. As you said, we opened our doors at the Meadows in February 1999, and just have the bare essentials to operate the meeting. And on the next 23 years, whatever we've been there, we've done, improvements year on year, every year, and we've gone from, being penniless firstly to being in a nice, strong financial situation, and the future looks good for the MGRA, yeah.
Yeah, it certainly is, and you and your board are a credit to that. And you are, in my opinion, the most progressive club in Australia. And I was talking to someone trackside at Cannington a couple of weeks ago, and they went over to the Phoenix last year, and they said, "Peter, if there's one thing you do before you finish in greyhound racing, get across the Phoenix. It is the most remarkable experience," and you must be really proud of that.
Oh, very much so, Peter, and that was very, very gratifying, especially because the first year we ran it was an experiment, obviously, to all of us, and we're just coming out of the lockdown, so it was hard to get a gauge. It was very good first year, and then then obviously last December, we upped the ante, went to $1 million first prize and all that, and the atmosphere was absolutely sensational. Of course, the result of Wow, She's Fast winning a second finish in a row held that course, of course.
And, of course, we've got our own slot race, the Sandgroper. We're trying to follow in your footsteps coming up in April this year. We've got you've created big shoes for us to try and step into. Tell us also what would be a highlight for you when you look back on your career, not only bringing the Meadows and the Melbourne Greyhound Club to the financial position that it's in at the moment, but also races like the Top Gun, I'm sure, the Australian Cup Carnival would be things that you would look back on very proud of.
Well, it's always been a dream of mine that the MGRA, or Melbourne Greyhounds as we call ourselves these days, would one day run the most number of Group 1 races, Group 1 events. And sure, as they said, with the Top Gun and Australian Cup and now the Phoenix, so even though it's not a group race, the Phoenix, but it's a sensational race. So we've actually got 11 Group 1s, if you like, because we've got 10 Group 1s plus the Phoenix. So, and that's always been an ambition of mine to get the club to that level. And that's a very gratifying thing to see happen. Yeah.
You've taken over, or you took over the reins from a man that had been involved for many, many years, and you've been in the position for over 20 years. Dr. Barbara Backhoy will now be stepping in, and they're big shoes to fill.
Yeah, well, she has stepped in already, and she's off and running. And Barbara's, is a sensational person. Apart from being a great greyhound person, she's also a lovely, lovely lady, and very, very smart. Runs her own veterinary clinic, and and she's very keen. Loves greyhound racing. Grew up in a greyhound racing family. She's been a vet at on-course vet for Warragul and Cranbourne for many years. And she's as keen as mustard, and I'm sure that she'll carry on the legacy and improve on it for sure.
And one of the other great aspects of you, when I think of Eddie Caruana, the man that came out as a young boy from Malta, is your beautiful wife Olympia and your family. You're always so welcoming when myself and Shorty and anyone from WA come across to Melbourne. You're always so welcoming to us. I'm sure Olympia will be pleased if she does get some extra time with you.
Oh, I don't know about that, but but no, we're one big happy family, and I always regard all the greyhound people over the years as a big family. I don't know whether you got the news over there, Peter, but last week we lost one of our great characters of the game, Maxi Wintle, who was 89 years old, and he's one of the original characters of the sport, and he passed away last week. So that's another legacy that's gone from our sport.
Ed, before we let you go, I just have a question in regards to the next generation. I read an article on the Meadows website, and it said that, it's been an absolute privilege for you to be involved in the MGRA and that you're proud of the strong position the club is in. However, the time is right to hand over to the next generation. We see a lot of the younger generation coming into the sport, getting involved in ownership, training, in greyhound racing. What do you think that looks like in the future, and how can the younger generation sort of bring the sport to another level?
Well, Leila, that's a great question. What I've noticed since we've come back from the pandemic and all that, there seems to be a hell of a lot more young people involved in greyhound racing, and that to me is so gratifying, and all goes well for the long-term future of the sport, obviously. But it's always been our problem at the MGRA, and most committees are the same. We're an aging group, and we're always looking for younger people to be involved, and as you all know, Troy Iwan was on our board for quite a few years, and it is unfortunately for us, he decided to go back and live in West Australia, so we'll probably end up losing him shortly. And it's so hard to get young people involved in the sport because there's so many other things that they need to do, and I think we're going to have to do something going forward, because we don't expect all these people to give up their time for nothing for years and years, and that's going to be an ongoing issue, I think, with most sports, especially our sport here.
Eddie, we appreciate your time this morning. You're a great man. You've done a great job for greyhound racing right the way throughout Australia, and especially at the Meadows. Good luck in your retirement, whatever that might be, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you around a greyhound track in the future.
For sure. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Leila. Fantastic, thank you.
Good on you. Eddie Caruana joining us, and he'll be pleased to note and know whether or not She's a Pearl will be going towards the Australian Cup Carnival, and Joe Lanutti's about to join us. But before we get to Joe, let's go back to Wentworth Park last Saturday night, because the Pearl was back in the running of the Paws of Thunder.
And they're racing now. Shields away brilliantly from the outside. She's a Pearl going with her reflections to the first corner. Gatlin across third. Up to fourth now is Amron Boy. They're followed by Embrace Wider. Next Coco Model, French Martini and Zipping Maserati. She's a Pearl went bang off the back straight. Opened up by 5 on Gatlin. They're followed by Reflections, Amron Boy and Embrace. Around the turn, it's She's a Pearl clear by 3. Gatlin tries hard, but the Queen is back on top of the Greyhound racing world. She's a Pearl's beat Gatlin by 2. Third, Reflections. Fourth, Amron.
Yeah, She's a Pearl. She's back all right, and Joe Lanutti's about to join us. We were hoping to get Jason Lincoln, not that we don't like talking to Joe, but Jason's has had to go to hospital this morning, so we wish him all the best of luck, and hopefully everything is okay. But Joe Lanutti is online. Joe, Leia, Ernest, and also Peter O'Neill with you. Congratulations. Great to see She's a Pearl take out another Group 1 victory there on Saturday night. How many is that for the Punters HQ?
What about that, Leia O'Neill? What about the podcast?
You heard that, did you?
So we'll go to Joe. Yeah, of course I did. Fair dinkum, Pete. We've won 6 Group 1 finals now, Pete, which is just, we pinch ourselves. Not sure how we've done it, but it's been amazing.
It has been amazing, and that was an amazing run from her. She doesn't mind a wide box, and for her to be able to get across and demolish a very, very smart field was remarkable.
No one likes box stats more than you, Pete, and she's 6 from 6 from box 8. Best price she's gone around Wentworth Park for our cruise. So we did an interview with Andy Lord for our owners on Tuesday night, and he absolutely declared her. He would put his own money on, and he just told them to keep on betting at the $3.50 or $4, and they did so. So hats off to him.
Yeah. I've just received a text through from Bunny Bash, who listens into our program, and the Gold Bullion nominations have been extended by Racing Queensland till 9 a.m. tomorrow morning Queensland time. Is there any chance that She's a Pearl might head up to Queensland?
Oh, have they really? No, we're not going, but knowing Andy and Jody, that they love it when noms extend, especially at Wentworth Park. So I was unaware of that, Pete. No, we decided not to go. We're going to head to, just talking to Corey Smith then, the Temlee. I thought it was like the Top Gun where you were invited, but it's not. You've got to nominate by 10 o'clock this Friday, and then a panel will select the best 8 greyhounds. So touch wood, we're going to nominate. Hopefully we can get a spot in the Temlee Saturday fortnight, which then rolls onto the Australian Cup. But, Brisbane was 100 million % no, but maybe it's 98% no, especially now that it's extended. You just never know, because obviously they're shorter noms.
Yeah, and if you nominate her for that series, she'd certainly do very, very well up there. And if you nominate her for the Temlee, she'll definitely get a run, I can guarantee you of that. So you'd stay on for the Australian Cup Carnival, the Australian Cup itself, and then what would the plan be, to go back for the Golden Easter Egg?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, well, she holds her own in Melbourne. We're not afraid to travel. She's run quite well down there, and against she's fast and Emron Boy and Co. So we'll go down, hopefully, again for the Temlee, and then, we'd save for the Australian Cup, and then the Golden Easter Egg, I think, is about 8 weeks away. If she was lucky enough to make a Golden Easter Egg final, it'd make the Sandgroper quite hard, because it's 5 days later, because you're on the Friday night there. So that'd be difficult, but I don't know if slot holders can wait till after the semi-finals of the Egg to find out the greyhounds that don't make the final. I'm unsure of what the cut-off date is, but everything's on the table. But we'd love to go back-to-back in an Egg.
Okay, so you're open to coming across to Perth for the Sandgroper if any of the slot holders approached you?
Yeah, for sure. It was $300,000 to the winner, is it not? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, who wouldn't? A one-off race for $300,000, absolutely. Like I said, it's difficult in regards to being 6 days post Golden Easter Egg final, but only 8 dogs can make the Golden Easter Egg final. It's a very hard race to make. So obviously, greyhounds that get knocked out in the heats or the semis including us, would be very interested for sure. She'd
certainly love to. I think she would as well. I think with her early speed, she'd really be well suited. We know that Cannington's a leader's track, and she's reliable from any box if she was able to get across here, and one of the slot holders snapped her up. I think they'd be mad not to take a look at her. I'll be talking with David Short and also Harry Buchanan coming up on Coast to Coast during the week about who we think the leading slot holders are, and I'll put it out there now. I think she'd be my number one pick if she was available, and you're saying she is available, so I think that's fantastic. What about your best greyhound, Good Odds Emma?
I knew he'd do it, Leia. I knew he'd do it.
It was coming.
Exactly. Couple of weeks freshen up for her. She's done a fantastic job, Pete, for you and the owners since we got her. Yeah, she obviously raced through and won a Group 1 and been in a couple of Group 2 final or Group 3 finals. So just a little freshen up for her, and then she'll recharge the batteries ready to go for a Golden Easter egg campaign and race at Wentworth Park in all the free-for-alls, and we'll pick a little couple of races out for her. But I think she deserves a couple of weeks off, Pete. She's probably a little bit flat now with what she's done, but it's been a whirlwind start.
Okay, I was going to call you later on as an owner and have a chat to you about Good Odds Emma. Might as well do it on air. Would you think, as an owning group with Good Odds Emma, bypassing the quality of She's a Pearl and the Golden Easter Egg and come to Perth for the Perth Cup?
Everything's on the table. I've got to sit down with Andy and Jody next week and sort of go through placing or preparing where our greyhounds are going to go moving forward. But geez, it's a track I think at Winnie, Pete, she's run 29.5-ish. It's a $300,000 race now. She's certainly not out of place there. So we don't want to avoid or dodge. I mean, if we dodge She's a Pearl, Pete, in a Gosford Gold Cup with Good Odds Emma and Punters Bandit, we wouldn't have won the race. Punters Bandit won at $10 because She's a Pearl bombed the start. So you're never going to run scared of a greyhound, and Emma's certainly good enough to win an egg or be competitive in one. So it's on the table, but I wouldn't say definite.
Congratulations
on there, aren't you?
I am, and I think if she came to Perth, it's more of a chance for me as a part owner, and not that I get much time on Sky Channel, as you know, but to be able to spruik her to the slot holders. And if a slot holder grabbed Good Odds Emma, they know, with me being a part owner, that they're going to get plenty of publicity, so it may be something for them to talk to you about.
Making your case on air, Pete.
I am. You've got it.
Second favourite for the stand grabber punters. Just back her. Good Odds Emma. She'll be there.
Well done with She's a Pearl with the Paws of Thunder. It's a big race, and she's got some big races coming up, and a decision for the Lords and yourself to make on whether you go to Queensland with the nominations extended till tomorrow morning. But at this stage, you'll be going to the Temley and the Australian Cup Carnival. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Pete. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, you too. Joe Lanutti joining us, and aren't they having a great run, Leia, the Punters HQ, and taking out another Group 1 final, and it'd be great if, and there's 8 slot holders, and we haven't heard from any of the 8 slot holders, including Tab Touch, in regards to which way they're going. Obviously, the Robertsons would be tied in with Throttle, so there's one slot you would say has been taken with the guest syndicate, but we've got the Britain Syndicate, and then you've got all the other companies around Australia that have bought slots in the Sandgroper, and they will have to start making their moves soon, I would have thought, to start talking to some of these greyhound owner and syndicates on whether their greyhounds are interested and whether they can tie them up for the Sandgroper. So plenty to talk about in the weeks and months ahead.
Do you think that some people have already been contacted, but we're sort of waiting a bit closer to when the event is and when the heats are to announce those selections?
I think some people have been approached, but you can wait, and this is the decision that the slot holders have to make. Do you wait until we get closer to the race to make sure that the greyhound's racing in peak form? Because we know with greyhounds they can drop off and they can also improve. Or, and if you do that, do you miss out on getting the quality greyhounds? There's only, in my opinion, probably 4 or 5 that I would be wanting at the moment, and Throttle's already gone. There's no guarantee that She's a Pearl will come across because of the Golden Easter Egg, and if she makes it through to the final of the Golden Easter Egg, of which she'd be one of the favourites at the moment. Wow, she's fast. Does she come across because of Sportsbet? Is she another one that's been tied up? They're some of the things that we have to look on. Amron Boy, would he come across to WA? Who does Tab Touch grab? And there's some of the other SEN and some of the other slot holders as well that have to be worked through. But I'd certainly be making my move, and certainly after what Joe Lanutti said this morning, I'd be on the phone to him straight away and saying, well, what greyhounds, and he's got a few in his care at the moment, what greyhounds would would you be interested, and what would you want for us to entice you across to Perth for the Sandgroper?
Well, I'd love to see Good Odds Emma come over here, Pete, so I have my fingers crossed for you there.
I guarantee you, whatever company does, if they grabbed her, they would be getting a lot of publicity, free publicity. So that's the benefit that I'm in at the moment. And being a part owner of Good Odds Emma, I'm not afraid to spruik her and to get her over. She's a very, very talented chaser that won that Group 1 late last year. That's Greyhound Gossip. We've got to get into race day, but Greyhound Racing returns to Cannington this evening. Looking forward to getting back there, and there's some good racing there. And, of course, later in the week, we've got the Gold Bullion, and those nominations have been extended to tomorrow morning. So that's good for Throttle as well. Lack of nominations, and whether those good dogs from Victoria and Queensland head up, or we heard from Ryan Levitsky on Friday that his stayer is heading across there, but not for the Gold Bullion. So some exciting times ahead leading into the next couple of weeks.
Yes, and of course you also mentioned talented chasers, Pete. We do have the Greyhound of the Year award happening this Sunday at the Crown, and we've got 3 very strong dogs going in to earn that title of Greyhound of the Year: Vice Grip, Mambo Manelli and Amplified. So good luck to all the nominees.
Yes, good luck to them. Looking forward to that, and also the Young Achiever, the Jerry O'Keefe Award and the Welfare Award coming up this Sunday at the Crown. That's Greyhound Gossip, a break, and then back with race day after this.